Hey everyone, this is CricketSong with Inner Wisdom, and you're watching another episode of Weird Witches Witchcraft. And today it's just me and my co-host Obsidian Fire, who's here to say hello.
Hey, bonjour tout le monde. Encore une fois, je ne vais pas me présenter, vous commencez à avoir l'habitude. J'espère que vous allez passer un bon moment avec nous et que ça va vous intéresser. N'hésitez pas à participer en live ou après le show en laissant des commentaires.
Yay. And tonight we are going to be talking about moon magic, right? Yeah. That's our topic tonight. Yay. And it's, at least for us here in the US, it is going to be tomorrow, Saturday. The dark moon is Saturday. And I have my time written down, at least for me in the Pacific Standard Time. It looks like 5:28 p.m. is the dark moon. So woohoo. So this is just a great topic to be having as the dark moon approaches. I want to say hello to everybody in chat. I know Liloke and Hellbound Heathen said he made it early, but he'll return. So I don't know if he's back, but if you're back, hey, Liloken. Hi, Shadow Sun. And hi, Shadow. So we got Shadow Sun and Shadow. And anyone else that there's more than those people watching, because my viewer count is up to 12, and that was only what, 3 people. So I know there's more of you watching that are not saying hello in chat. So I want to say hi to you all and thank you for joining us tonight. So moon magic. Where do we want to start? What do we want to start? And if you have questions as we go along, please ask. Hi, Markin. Oh yeah, here's everybody. Yeah. Now there's everybody. All right. So where do we want to start with our topic about moon magic?
Yeah, I think we can. Shadowson just said he thought the dark moon was today and the new moon was tomorrow. So it could be a first point.
Okay.
Difference between
and the new moon. Right. I wanted to talk about that too. Okay, so, so when we look at the moon, when we think of moon phases, we definitely, I think, look up at the sky and we look at what we see in the sky. So a dark moon / new moon, depending on who you're talking to, they may call it the same thing because in the sky, it looks like there is no moon. So some people will say that the moon is dark. Mm-hmm. Some say, some people will say the moon is new. Mm-hmm. So my feeling, and this is just how I perceive, there is definitely for me a difference in energy between the dark moon and the new moon. Mm-hmm. And how I view it is as soon as you no longer see any sliver of the moon in the sky, up until the point where it's just like between the Sabbats. If you follow the wheel of the year, if you think about the seasons, Yule Yule is on Yule, but we get the feeling that we're moving into Yule prior to Yule. Samhain is Samhain on Samhain, but it's still like the Samhain vibe prior and after, until we slowly blend into Yule. Mm-hmm. So for me, that's the same as the dark moon when the moon is decaying and the energies are, decaying, deconstructing. Mm-hmm. As we move into the new moon, as the moon is going into a new phase. So the phase is ending and then the phase is beginning. So I call the ending phase the dark moon and the beginning the new moon. I don't know if that's the same for everybody, but that's definitely how I'm feeling. So I can do magics if I want to use the energy of the decaying moon in a dark cycle when I don't see I don't see the moon, when there is no moon visible in the sky, but the energies of the decaying energy, the destruction, the dying when it's dark. And then I can do magics as I feel the new moon coming into fruition, like the day after even. So for me, I need to not only look at when the moon is new, which is what 528 is what I see said, is when the I looked at the moon calendar. Actually, let me just peek at it again. What is it? January, full moon, third quarter, new moon. Okay, so it's saying the moon phases for Seattle, Washington in 2019 is telling me that the moon is new. They're calling it the new moon, January 5th, 5:28 p.m. So I would say that the dark moon is prior to that, or maybe even just before that, and the new moon is after that. That's sort of the line where I say, okay, the decaying is up until that, and then the new moon is after that. Or depending on how I feel it. Obviously, I go with my feeling and my sensitivity to the energies that I'm experiencing. What do you think?
Well, I tend to look at the phases of the moon with very specific day, even if the energy is obviously constructing prior to the very day. For instance, the very day of the dark moon will be for me tonight. This is the day of the dark moon. Prior to that, this is constructing, but it's the waning moon. It's the waning moon. So it's it's the same energy, but the dark moon is on its very day, this day, when 0% of the moon is visible in the sky. And for me, the way I understand the new moon is when 1% of the moon is visible in the sky. This is the new beginning for me. So it's usually 24 hours after the dark moon. It is the new moon. And in between, obviously, we have the constructing energy, because it is constructing from one point to another. So, and in between, we have waning and waxing moon and full moon and half moon. We can talk about half moon too. So, yeah, I agree with all the vibes of constructing energy, either in waning or waxing phase. But the way I understand the dark moon is this way. It's on the very day when nothing is visible anymore. This is the dark moon for me.
So do you differentiate between the dark moon and the new moon, or do you call the new moon the dark moon?
No, I difference.
Okay.
I do a difference. The dark moon is for me, is only on the night where 0% of the moon is visible for any human technology, just not to my eyes. This is not, there is just no ray of the sun on the moon.
Yeah, so when we look at that, the thing that the website I just went over to, and they said it was a new moon at 5:28 p.m. for Seattle. That's when there is no moon visible in the sky. They call it a new moon. You call it a dark moon.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right. I was responding to Lady Ambrosia.
Hello, Lady Ambrosia. I saw she posted a couple of videos the other day, so I was catching up with her videos, and she's in chat. Hello, my dear. Yeah, so you would call that the dark moon, and as soon as 1% shows up, you call that the new moon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And I don't use it exactly the same way, even if we can discuss about the fact that 1% visible in the sky doesn't shift entirely the energy.
Right.
I do agree on this. I do agree. But the way I look at it is the sun is hitting on the moon, is touching the moon, the ray of the sun again. So this is a new cycle because there is a gap in between.
Yeah.
A moment where the light of the sun doesn't touch the moon at all. So for me, the very moment he touched it again, it's the new beginning.
Yeah.
Constructing the new beginning. the new light rising.
Right. And that's sort of like what I was saying. Like you said, even though we can't see it in the sky, that 1%, but that's definitely how I see it too, is it's dark when it's gone, when it's dead, and it's new as it's like, it's almost like if we imagine it being the earth and a little sprout just sticking its little head above the earth. We may not really be able to see it, but it's happened. So there's a difference between when it's totally dormant under the ground and when it's popping through the earth. And that's how I see it too, and how I experience the energy. So do you do magics on the dark moon? Because I know some witches won't. If they don't see the moon, then that's a time for no magic. You know, when the moon is dark, you take a rest.
I've heard that a lot, but this is not the way I feel, and this is not the way I practice. Actually, I'm usually very active on the dark moon rather than on a full moon. Maybe because my patron goddess is related to the dark moon, so maybe it is, but maybe not. Maybe it's just because I'm dark. No, I'm kidding.
Work on the dark moon too. There's certain things I'll do on the dark moon. So
especially on a dark moon, I tend to use it more than the full moon, actually. But
I think those are the two phases that I do work on, is the dark and the full. I kind of tend not to. Well, I do witchcraft. I do crafting and magics whenever I need to. You know, I don't necessarily say, okay, it's a whatever, it's a waxing moon, I'm not going to do this magic on that. You can take your spell and switch it up so that the same intention can, you know, and instead of banishing
and bringing,
you could bring it instead, bring the opposite. You know, if you want to banish something, I can't even think tonight. Forgive me, everyone.
No, it's perfectly.
If I want to banish anger, instead of banishing the anger, maybe I want to bring in peace instead. You know what I mean?
A little tweak in the writing of the spell and the spell construction is usually enough to adapt to the phase of the moon. It's not that difficult. But for me, it's more difficult to adapt to something, to the dark moon or to the full moon. These are very specific days for me. Very specific days. So I usually writing a spell for one or the other, but it is more difficult to adapt because this is not the same vibe at all.
Yeah. I generally, I mean, if I'm going to do some big magic, you know, and I want, you know, heart's desire, I want full potential, I tend to do the magic on the full moon. If there's, you know, big stuff that I want to accomplish. Someone asked, who was it in chat? Markin, the 21st is a lunar eclipse. We can't charge crystals in the moonlight, right? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't see any problem with that. Some people say that a lunar eclipse delivers energy of one complete cycle of the moon. So I don't know how do you view eclipse of the moon, lunar eclipse, but
yeah, for me, I mean, I don't use a lot of crystals, so I can't really speak to whether you can charge the crystals under that moonlight or not. But I've done magics during that with the idea of, you know, you get the full cycle of the
one night.
Yeah.
Me too. I've used it this way, and I've charged crystal in those nights. So yeah, I don't see any problem with that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
It could be
I
a very
guess, yeah, with that
interesting.
same thought, you know.
Yeah, it could be very maybe very interesting to craft something on a lunar eclipse night, something like something big changes in your life, because then you will have the death and the
Yeah.
rebirth in and the growing, and in one night. So maybe lunar eclipse night could fit better a huge plan for your craft. I don't know if I'm clear enough. Sorry, but did you see what I meant?
Your sound keeps going in and out tonight. I don't know what the
Oh,
problem is.
okay. Let me check.
It like you're talking and then it like clicks off a little bit and then it'll come back on. I don't know.
I'm not
Well,
seeing
I'm
my.
sure I know why, but
Yeah, I can guess why too.
yeah, but
So
um,
I was saying, it could be interesting to work on a lunar eclipse night, on a big project for your life. I mean, something that needs first things to die and rebirth. I mean, you see, like
yeah,
a
like
huge,
the energy of a
huge
phoenix.
change. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Something to burn something to the ground and then rebirth again. And I think lunar eclipse night particularly fit this kind of huge craft
Yeah.
project.
I agree. I agree. Lady Ambrosia in the chat was suggesting like eclipse water that you could then add to your bath and use for glamour magic. And I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, that is.
I
Yeah,
like
there
them.
is moon water. We didn't talk about that
Yeah.
yet.
I mean, we haven't gotten there yet, but yeah, like moon
Yeah.
water. I mean, any sort of, I mean, and I think the eclipse water, another idea that I've toyed around with is, I mean, I guess it's sort of like charging the crystal, but not necessarily charging the crystal, but imbuing a quartz or some sort of, I like quartz. I use quartz. That's like the one crystal I really use. Um, Actively going outside with it in the eclipse and sort of imbuing that quartz point with the energy of all, that eclipse, and then storing it and using it sort of like an eclipse water, but
Hmm.
using that specific energy later on in my craft. So if there's no big thing I want to do that night, but sort of using the quartz as a battery for that energy that then I'll
Hmm.
use later,
Yeah.
because maybe later there's something coming up, but
Yeah.
I'm not ready to perform it on that eclipse since the eclipse is not something that occurs every month.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I did that too in the past. So, what else?
Okay,
Not an
so
espresso.
we talked about the dark moon, the new moon, the eclipse. Um, you want to do talk about void of course
Yeah,
moons?
but of course, Moon. If someone in the chat has so to share about this, some people seems to be affected by void of course moon, and some other don't. I wasn't particularly um, concerned by the void of course moon thing until the day it blasted out on my face. And then I had to realize that my craft was under the influence of the void of course moon. So now when I have something to cast, important to cast, prior to that, I check if I will be or not on a void of course moon.
Do you usually check to see where the moon is in regards to the planets in a general? So, like when the next So for the dark moon, if you were going to do magic, would you check to see where the moon would be, or are you only concerned if it's void of course?
For now, I'm just looking if it is void of course or not. I do not check the alignment of the moon in regards of other planets.
Okay.
I'm just looking on this specifically because one time I've casted 2 different spells and a few up without knowing it was void of course moon, and a few hours after that everything was messed up. I okay, it was a healing spell and a protection spell.
It was what?
Healing
Okay.
Healing spell and a protection spell. It wasn't for the same people. Okay, some of them need to be protected, and some of them need a little help to heal. And a few hours after that, I've learned that the one that I've casted the protection for were sick just suddenly. So suddenly, and the one I've tried to protect, well, that I've tried to heal, well, what happened to her already? I don't exactly remember. I should look into my grimoire again too. But yeah, and it was so striking that I was, what the fuck happened with the spell? And then I start to dig. Okay, so it was this day, this time of the day. Okay, and I start to look, and then suddenly I found out it was void of course. All right. Okay, I see. And there were a few examples like this who tends to demonstrate that I shouldn't cast anything when the moon is void of course.
So it almost did a
So
flip-flop for you.
yeah, it's very, for me, chaotic. I can't predict what it's gonna look like if I try to cast something on this moment. So I don't know if anyone no, void of course, Leiloken, is when the moon isn't for our position in the universe, is when the moon isn't in any sign, zodiacal sign. How do you call that? Constellation?
Like astrological. I would,
Yeah.
yeah. What is
So
the actual definition? I'll check it out.
it's the
I'm
moment
sure.
where the moon travels from one sign to one another. There is a point where she is not in any constellation, or I don't know how to. So
Yeah. It says it begins when the moon is in transit, makes the last major aspect it will make before it changes from one sign of the zodiac to the next. It ends when the moon enters the next sign. The name of this period is called void of course.
it can last very few hours.
It says it can last seconds.
Yeah.
It can last seconds or hours or days.
All days, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
So that's void of course. Now, Lady Ambrosia in the chat said she's not so concerned about the void of course, but she's more interested when it falls under, interested in what house the moon is.
Yeah.
I don't do astrology, so I'm not, I mean, I'm not very, I'm not an expert in any of this. So I'm just starting to only because of the tarot deck that I'm using, the Book of Shadows tarot deck, which the fire element in that, which is supposed to be associated with wands, but whatever. The fire, they've associated each of the numbers with a planet. So this is making me and forcing me to kind of experiment and explore the energies of these planets. So maybe at some time I'll be more concerned about the moon and the houses and the astrological signs, but for now, I'm not so concerned. And I've never had any of the magics I've done be affected by a void of course. But does that mean I've never cast during a void of course? It's possible, you know.
Yeah, it's very possible because it happens a lot in a month.
Yeah,
so it's very possible.
Yeah.
But I wasn't concerned about this either. Then I realized I should. I should be. And what's funny is other witchy friends, another witchy friend is also affected by the void of course moon, and her matron goddess is related to the moon too. Funny, it's interesting, but that doesn't mean it's the same for everyone.
Right. Well, I was just thinking there could have been times that the moon was void, of course, but I didn't cast at that time. So, I mean, I suppose I could be affected, but perhaps my casting, the days that I decided to cast, weren't during a time when the moon was void, of course. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of easy to, when the void of course thing doesn't last for days, it could be easy to just slip in between,
right?
You know, because you cannot, for an example, cast in at 1 p.m. and you can at 1 and 5 minutes p.m. So it can be easy to go in between.
Right. Lady Ambrosia, I'm saying I feel different houses of the zodiac. The moon phases have more weight to me than the void, of course. Yeah, I understood what you meant. Maybe I didn't say it right. I'm sorry if I didn't. I'm having kind of a struggle today, so bear with me. And I would love to talk natal charts with you too. Send me a Facebook message. I can schedule you maybe for March. I know that seems far out, but I try to schedule one guest a month. So if you want to, maybe it's April. Send me a Facebook message and we can try to figure something out if you'd like to come on and chit chat with Obsidian and I about natal charts. I think we'd both enjoy that.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
Yeah, for sure. So, void of course, moon water.
Moon water. Mm-hmm.
It's a topic that goes on in the chat, so we should maybe address this one.
Sure.
Do you use
moon water? I do in my spell crafting.
Me too.
I do.
Not every time, but
not every time. No, not every time. And actually, now that we're talking about it, since I moved here, I haven't had an opportunity. And you know, I like kick myself in the ass because we had a huge thunder and lightning storm maybe last week sometime, and I didn't get any water. And I realized since we moved out here, before we moved here, all my liquids, I think I got rid of most of my oils because I couldn't put the liquids in the moving container. And I didn't have any room in our car. It was already filled. So I gave away all my liquids, all like my oils and the oil blends I made and the waters I had collected. I gifted them to friends, witchy friends, rose water, all this stuff that I had crafted, I had given away, and I have yet to craft any of that stuff for me. So moon water is one of the things that I have on my list to make.
Yeah, me too. It's more difficult since I live in a flat, so I cannot expose water to the moon each and every time I want to do. So I have to plan and to check and to see if it's doable or not. So yeah, that's why I tend to use more of storm water or and everything like this.
Right. I'm making a little list to remind me of what I need to do.
A to-do list.
Yes.
So what else?
What else? Jackie wants to know, do I still do crystal ball divination? I do. I still have my crystal ball and I still use her. Yes, I do.
Shadowsan asked, do you create moon water at each points of the lunar cycle or just at certain ones?
Me, I just do the dark and the full.
Yeah, me too. I do not. Yeah, I do not. No. I don't see the point of in doing waxing or waiting. There should be a use for that, but I don't feel like it, so I don't do it.
Yeah. I'm trying to see. Waxing waiting. What decks are you using? Are you, Lilokin, was that directed to us or was that directed to someone in chat? I'll have to leave that out there. Tarot course. Oh, I think that's out there in chat. I think they're talking. Okay, yeah, they're talking in chat. Okay, so moon water, we talked about that.
Blue moon. We could talk about blue moon.
Oh, yes, blue moon.
So blue moon. So I think there is different understanding also of the blue moon.
There is.
There is. So some says and thinks that a blue moon is a second full moon happening in a month.
Yep.
And apparently a more accurate description would be the fourth full moon in a seasonal cycle.
Yes.
Did I put that right? Yeah.
That's those are the two definitions I've heard as well.
Yeah. So which one do you refer to if you work with a blue moon?
If it was up to me, it would be the fourth one in the season.
Yeah, me too. That's why
because we haven't talked about this before.
No. Me too. So that's why I tend to check and to see if it is a blue moon, truly a blue moon or not.
Yeah.
Even or not, I mean.
Because if I think, if correct me if I'm wrong, the two moons in a month happens more frequently than the fourth moon in a season. So for it to be very special, to have special energy, it would be the fourth moon in the season because it happens less frequently than the two moons in a month.
Yeah. 2 moon in a month. Let's look at the February month. It is shorter than every other month usually, so it's frequent that we have 2 full moon in March.
Oh,
but that doesn't make it.
Yeah, that's not happening this year though.
No, it's not every year, but it's frequent. So for me, yeah, nah.
I don't even see one this year. January 20th, February 19th, March 20th, April 19th, May 18th, June 17th, July 16th, August 15th, September 13th, October 13th, November 12th, December 11th.
Yeah, there is no.
Huh. Well, no blue moon this year.
No, no. So yeah, the blue moons for me needs to have a special energy.
Yes.
I must feel like there is a special energy, because if you feel like a second full moon in a month is something you can and you should work with, so go along with it. It's okay. It's perfectly okay. It's a question of how we perceive things. And the way I perceive it is blue moon is something really rare. I struggle with the R thing in English.
That's okay.
Okay. Have you studied any lunar to solar cycle calendar? No, I did not.
Well, I bought, not last year, but the year before, and I bought it again this year, a lunar calendar.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see the name of it. It was suggested, or I saw this calendar on Joanna DeVoe's channel.
Oh, okay.
And she had a few years ago mentioned it, and that year I purchased it. I didn't purchase it last year, but I purchased it for this year. And it's a calendar tracked by the moon instead of the sun, but it does have the traditional days, but when you flip the pages, it does it by moon cycles. So let me find the name of it. Okay, it is the Lunaria 2019 Lunar Astrology Wall Calendar. And I will post the link to this calendar. It's in the other room. I'm not gonna. If I was thinking about it, like I said, I'm struggling today. Please forgive me. But I will put the link in here for you guys. That calendar is a wonderful calendar, so I'm actually using it this year. But I have not compared it to the standard calendar that we use. So I haven't done a comparison, but I am sort of what I have done and some of the students that I've had in the past suggest them do is track their own personal energies according to the cycle of the moon. So this calendar helps so that then you can find as a witch when your most powerful energies are, and then work your magics on that. So if you find that you are more energetically connected to sun or to waning moon or dark or new, or you find your power days and you can work your magics according to that. And I'm curious, which is why I purchased this calendar to track my energies this year, to see if being here on the West Coast and me aligning with the energies of the moon is different than when I was living on the East Coast. So I'm doing my own, comparative research to see. Yeah.
And you do well, because it's very interesting. And I guess I don't think we are throughout life. I don't think we are always the same. This can be shifting throughout moments, period of our life. For me, it shifts several times. So, and I bet it will again.
Yeah. And when I think about it, my birthday is in January, and I'm hitting the big 50. So, thinking about that, thinking that, I'm going to be 50 this month, and it's a century. I've lived here on this earth, but in that being a big benchmark, I think when you just look at numbers, and living in a new place and dealing with new things, I think this is a different. So I wanted to see what that was going to be like.
There will be shifting, obviously. There is, for me, with the big 40, there is since a huge shift. Phoenix time. Phoenix time. So I guess obviously there is several major shifts in each and everyone's life in regards of everything, the way you perceive energies, the way they affect
Effect. Yeah.
affect us, sorry. And yeah, it's obvious we change. So everything that goes along with us change.
Yeah.
The way we think, the way we look at things, the way we act, the way we gonna handle our feelings and emotions and everything. So if there is that huge changes inside, obviously there will be along with that changes in our craft.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as within, so without. It's the whole idea. We are constantly changing.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm just curious to take note how the
Yeah,
changes are,
because
you
it
know.
is. Yeah, because indeed it's interesting to know. It's interesting to take notice of that because then you can make the most use of it.
Exactly. And I'm all
That's
for using what's there.
yeah. Yeah, we should. We
I know
should.
it's there for us. Why not, right? I mean, come on
Yeah,
now. We'd be
um,
foolish not to.
absolutely. Okay, so is there any more question in the chat? Mhm.
I will, Shadow Sun, I will keep you posted on the tracking. Um, okay. Um,
Silver jewelry under the moon, yeah. From yeah, why not? Obviously, because it's silver is usually metal. Or do you say that?
oh, metal. Yeah.
Metal. Thank you. A metal related to the moon because of its color and since ancient time. So yeah, for me it's fitting charging jewelry, silver jewelry, and yes, and gold under the sun. Absolutely, it comes from the ancient times, and yeah, I can resonate with that. But usually I don't. I don't use
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That doesn't
Yeah.
mean I won't use it. It's usually I charge my jewelry
Jewelry.
differently.
Yeah. Yeah, me
Same.
too. I don't generally do it under the sun or the moon. And
No,
and
but it makes sense. It makes sense. And
it
I
does. It
did
does
a
make
couple of
sense.
times with the gold sun thing. I did it a couple of times. But yeah, I tend to rely on different method to charge
Yeah.
my jewelry. Yeah.
Jewelry. Yeah.
Yeah. The little thingy to look beautiful.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer gold to silver too.
I prefer silver to gold.
That's one difference.
I know. I know. We do have some differences. I mean,
Yeah.
although like I don't tend to wear a lot of jewelry. And the jewelry I generally wear have specific reasons why I wear it. So, and then there are pieces that I wear only infrequently, and when I wear them, I put them on with a specific intention as to why I'm
Yeah,
picking this. I
me
mean,
too.
I only have two specific rings I wear.
Mhm.
Well, three, because that's two rings. Obviously, that's wedding.
Yeah.
This is the only other ring I wear all the time. It never gets removed. But other than, rings like earrings and
Mhm.
stuff, but any other jewelry I put on has specific purposes or intentions for putting them on.
Yeah, me too. There isn't much. I don't wear much jewels, necklace, and anything. I don't wear much, but there is a couple that almost never uh, quite me. I know for like this one.
Right,
Hey.
right.
I don't know if you can see it.
Mm-hmm. I know what
This
it
one,
is.
yeah, this one is usually around my neck, and another piece of two of yeah, another symbols and talisman and things like this. But when I put it on, I know why
Mhm.
I put it on. Most of the time, if I don't need or feel any mm, reason to wear it, I don't. I just don't, and I keep charging it until the next time I will need it. So yeah, that's the same for me. Okay.
Any
Any
lunar spells you can suggest for calming emotions or stress? And at Shadow Sun asking for her partner.
Well, it depends the way you look at things. I think it falls back into what we were saying at the beginning of the show, with the different phases and the little tweaks you can do into your craft to go along the moon phase and match it up with your intention. In this case, calming emotion and stress, so you could work on a waning phase and write your spell just in like in this ID, calm down. So waning the stress out of your life, or you can tweak it in the waxing moon and try to have more. I don't know if it's about stress or maybe more joy or maybe more. The fact to do not mind. How do you say that? A bit of relief, to not think too much about things. What would be the good word in
Not
English?
uh not not to think about things, not to be stressed out, to relax.
Yeah, yeah, a bit more of a. In French, I would say être un peu plus insouciant. The fact not to get worry over a thing. There is people who never worry about things.
Okay.
French, it's to be insouciant, and I don't know how
To
to
be
translate this one.
to be unbothered, to be unworried, to be unconcerned, to be nonchalant. Isn't that French?
Yeah, yes, it is. Kind of. Okay, so but you get the idea. So you can just tweak the writing of the spells and the way you're gonna think about the intent to match with the lunar cycle. So it could be pretty much anything you want it to be. The spell, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm always reluctant to give specific spells only because it really would depend. There's so many things to take into consideration when you
Yeah,
are trying to craft a spell, which is why we do our other series on this show where it's, constructing or crafting a spell. So we
yeah,
walk you through what you need to consider before you and as you
actually.
construct your spell before you cast it. Um,
Because if you just pick and choose a spell into a book, I'm not saying that it cannot be inspirational, but if you just pick and do what's wrote into a specific book, chance would be you won't resonate with everything, and there is part that won't make sense for you. That's a weakness point into your craft. You should find what is talking to you really
mhm.
and truly, and then you're gonna be at your full potential. But if you are just applying something that you have read in the book, uh, I'm not that sure.
Well, yeah, it's the whole idea that one size doesn't fit all.
Yeah,
One size doesn't fit all.
no, and it's a very restricted way and wrong way to look at the world. We are not everyone into the same box and
Right.
size and everything. We are all different. we're connected, but
Right.
we're different.
And Benabel, hey Benabel, she said void of
Hey,
course,
Benabel.
void of course means that the planet, in this case the moon, is not in any key aspects to other planets, meaning it is having no relation with other planetary bodies. It's a loner.
Yeah.
Thank you, Benabel.
Thanks.
Okay. Shadow Sun said she agrees. She writes all of her own. I may just work it for him with his permission based on what's going on currently. Thank you both. Yeah, obviously you're going to know more of what's going on since this since he's your partner and you know the details of what's happening and why he might be stressed. So, yeah, working for him or working with him is definitely a good idea because you know more than we would anyway.
Yeah.
922. What retrograde? Oh, Benabel's going to share. Retrograde means the planet is moving slower than us, so it appears to be moving backwards. From your perspective in a chart, it moves backwards through the zodiac signs instead of forward. Yeah, I realized what retrograde was. So we have about 7 minutes. What I'd like to do before we run out of time, there is a book that I read a couple of years ago that I'm going to recommend. It is The Mysteries of the Dark Moon, The Healing Power of the Dark Goddess. Now, yes, it does talk all about goddesses in here, and it talks about the dark moon and all that. But the reason why I'm pointing this out during our talk here is because it really talks about the moon and the power of the moon, specifically the dark moon. And let me just read from Goodreads. It talks about exploring the mystery, wisdom, and power of the dark phase of the moon cycle, a lunar-based model for moving through the dark times in our lives with understanding, consciousness, and faith in renewal. It is by Demetra George. It combines psychological, mythical, and spiritual perspectives on the shadowy feminine symbolism of the dark moon to reclaim the goddess from oppressive, fear-based images. It is a great read. It was recommended to me by a witchy friend. It is an older book, but I still feel like it has a lot of important stuff for us in today's society, especially, I'll just drop it like that. So let me put the link. This is just a link from Goodreads. I'll put it in the chat if you're interested. If you do end up reading it, I'd love to hear what you think about that book. It's a wonderful book. So check that out. Shadow Sun, yes, it is a great book. It is. It's a good book. Hey, there's French writing in our chat.
Yeah,
What's
I
up
was
with that?
surprised to see the question in French, but there is so.
Oh yeah, look at there's a French. Okay, what phase of the moon do you recommend for traveling with something at night?
For working with scrying mirror, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, I got some of that.
I don't yet, but I would like to.
Daylight.
And I will at some point.
Traveler avec. Oh, the mirror, the mirror dark.
Yeah.
Or working. Mirror. Oh, I thought traveler working with the mirror dark.
Yeah.
The dark mirror.
Dark mirror.
What phase? I personally use the dark moon. I don't necessarily know if that's the best for everybody.
Usually the dark moon is the one recommended.
Works for me. So
you should go along there. It's always a question of what works for you. Always.
Mm-hmm. I don't know a lot of French, Benabel.
Yeah, but you obviously know enough to be able to translate.
Oh yeah, because your response was what? The moon. Oh no, yeah, the moon black. Oh, the dark moon is most. You recommend it. It's your advantage or something. Recommended for your scrying.
For scrying.
And then, but personally, you practice divination, the genre of divination. Oh, it's important. It's an important practice for you. Is that what you said?
No, but you were right. You no, that was nice. That personally, I do practice the divination I want to practice at any point I want to practice it.
Oh, at any point. Okay, I see that. See, I can read and understand a little more reading than listening. See what she's teaching me, guys? She's teaching me all this.
She's teaching me English.
Oh, baloney. She was
No, I'm not. I wasn't, and I'm still not.
Yeah, no, she's got her English all set. It had nothing to do with me. So we're about done for tonight. It's 9:27. Oh my God, hold up.
Yeah, I've seen a question.
Hold up. No, I just saw Ballerina Boy.
Oh,
Corey. Oh my God, you're in the chat. You're watching? Oh, my friend Corey. Oh, I miss you. Oh my God, I'm going to cry. Where have you been? Oh my God, Corey. I'm sorry, guys. Corey, I love you. Oh gosh, yeah. And then Joe, I'd love to hear your definition, perspective, if you have time to answer. What's the difference between a witch and a Wicca? Oh, we don't have time for that.
No, but you should look into our previous episode.
Yep.
We've talked about this one several times, and we surely would again, but not now.
I know. Oh, Corey loves me. I love you too, Corey. We're making this our little personal. Oh, where are you? Oh my God. Oh, I want to talk to you, Corey. You need to find me again on Facebook. We need to, we need to message each other. Anyway, oh, look at someone else said French. J'aime le français. Okay, I love French, but I just parle pas. Can't speak it. Parle pas. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I do not speak it. Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, I know. We don't have time for that. We don't. Yeah. Between a witch and Wicca, we don't. Look at it's 9:29. Look at
it's too late to answer that.
I know it's too late to go into that big old thing.
You guys write that down, and when we're gonna have
Wicca, it's religion. No. You know who you need to check out? Thorn Mooney. Check out her channel. She just did a video recently talking. I think it was like things that really pet peeves about Wicca or witchcraft or something. You should go check that out. She talks all about that. Thorn Mooney. Yeah. We may be seeing her soon. Anyway, so, okay, 9:29. We have to end. We got to get Benabelle back on the show too.
And Lady Ambrosia.
Lady Ambrosia, I want to get her on the show.
In the chat, you should message her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Jasmine. Yeah. We'll get her on. We'll talk about natal charts. That'll be fun. If she's willing. I know she's busy, but yeah. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So next week, what are we talking about next week?
Obsidian? I don't know.
I don't remember either.
Let's look real quick. It should be the witch's relationship with the elements.
Ooh, that's going to be fun. The witch's relationship with the elements next week.
Yeah.
Yes, we are going to talk about that next week. So make sure you tune in. If you haven't joined Wyrds, Witches, Witchcraft, the Facebook group, I truly encourage you to join us. We're having nice conversations. We're learning from each other. We're doing word games. We're sharing lots of stuff. So if you haven't become a member. I give free readings once a month to a lucky winner. You should go check it out.
She does.
Yes, join us over there.
And about this, I'm sorry I'm not very active. I apologize to you and to everyone in the chat that maybe are into the Facebook group. I'm going through like a hectic time, so I'm not as active as I should be and as I used to be. But this won't last. So sorry, guys. But I'm still here anyway.
Yes, she is. And she has no need to apologize.
Yeah, but I do feel like it, so I did it. All right, so
It's
it
the
is time
end.
to say
It is time to say au revoir.
au revoir. Merci à tous de nous avoir suivis. N'hésitez pas à laisser encore une fois des commentaires, même après coup. Et rejoignez-nous pour le prochain show, la semaine prochaine, pour les leftos en France. Bye bye.
Good night, everybody. Until we see you next week. I love you. Mwah. Blessed be.
Bye.